In the Sinsapa Sutta of Samyutta Nikaya, there is a short story of an incident when Buddha was walking through a forest. There, he picked up few leaves fallen on the ground, showed it to his disciples that were going after him, and said, "What he has revealed to them, when compared to what he has realized through his Buddha vision or the enlightened vision," he said, what he said was very little, very few, like the few leaves in his hand. But what he knew, what he saw through his vision, but what he didn't tell the disciples, could be compared to innumerable leaves in the forest. Then he explained why he didn't want to tell his disciples all what he could see through his Buddha vision. He says they are not material to enlightenment, to the end of suffering. And he has said only the little what is needed to end the suffering of human beings and the Devas and the Brahmas. According to what he said, what he did not reveal were not necessary because, in his own words, they are na nibbidaya, na viragaya, na nirodhaya, na upasamaya, na vijñāya, na sambodhaya, na nibbānāya samvattati. They are of no use to attain enlightenment. Enlightenment is beyond knowledge. We have to go beyond knowledge to realize Nibbana, which is beyond knowledge. During his time, the knowledge is called, the collected knowledge that was coming down from tradition for thousands of years were called Veda. Veda means knowledge. During the Buddha's time, there were young people who had discarded knowledge and want to enlighten wisdom by inquiry into the nature of things. And their revelations are called Vedanta. Veda means knowledge, Anta means end. Wisdom is awakened when the knowledge sleeps. That is what happened to Buddha at his enlightenment according to his first paean of joy uttered after the enlightenment. He said, Visankara gatan citta. The thinking process in the mind stopped, ceased, came to an end. Because at that moment his mind was vitaragi, vitadosi, vitamohi. Vitaragi means no attachment, no likes. Vitadosimo, no dislikes. Vitamohi means no ignorance, because he was enlightened and he could see. we think of things that we like, dislike, or that we cannot realize or understand, or things of our ignorance. When things are covered by ignorance, that means when we do not know, we are thinking to find out what is hidden. This statement of the Buddha at the Sinsapa Sutta shows his main concern was ending the suffering of beings. And that is the manifestation of the Buddha's immeasurable, illimitable, sublime compassion and altruistic love called metta. Metta is altruistic love. Altruistic means selfless, unselfish love. He had no selfish motive in revealing the truth of Nirvana to the human beings and devas. His concern was ending suffering, and when you end the suffering, what pops up to your mind is the altruistic love and compassion called karuna. When your mind is full of sorrows, when there is sorrow, there cannot be love, unselfish love, and immeasurable compassion towards anybody. Metta crops up only when there is complete bliss of mind. Enlightenment is realizing a supreme bliss of mind. In the Ekapuggala Vagga of Anguttara Nikaya, there is a saying, Ekapuggalo bhikkhave loke uppajjati uppajjamano uppajjati bahujana hitaya bahujana sukaya lokanukampaya attaya hitaya sukaya deva manusana katamo ekapuggalo tathagato arahang samma sambuddha. An enlightened one called Buddha comes to the world for the good of the others. Out of compassion, he is revealing for the benefit of the suffering people how to end suffering. And for that, he need tell them only very little of what he knew. But he knew was immeasurable, because Patisambhida Magga says that he could see the entire past, entire future, and entire present. That is his Buddha vision, boundlessly. That means his vision was beyond time dimension of past limits and future limits. And his vision was beyond space, not only beyond time, beyond space. He could see at anything at any distance. Distance was no bar for the enlightened, because enlightenment is of a different state, different from the present state or the present universe. It's a universe of a different dimension. In our universe, there are dimensions, space, length, breadth and height. There is the dimension of time, limitations. But enlightenment comes from a limitless, boundless, timeless dimension. That is why it is called akaliko, timeless. Though he could see so much though he had so much information about this universe and the life, both of the past and the present and the future, he could tell people only a little that could be helpful to end their suffering, because all Buddhas act out of compassion and out of altruistic love and tirelessly. Mudita means indefatigable. They don't get tired of. There's so much of passion and compassion, earnestness. So active the Buddha was. She was never tired of helping people. That is called mudita. That is the joy, that is called altruistic joy. And he had upekkha. He had no conflict with anything. His mind was free from resentment. And such a sublime state of mind is a sublime state of bliss. It is after attaining that sublime bliss, he tried to convince others to how to attain that bliss, provided they have the capacity to do so. We need the capacity called bodhi matured enough, the inner wisdom matured enough to understand and realize the ultimate truth and the supreme bliss that the Buddha was revealing through his teachings. His teachings are still with us, even in a summary form. They reveal to us the path to Nirvana, the supreme bliss. A blissful mind is a loving mind, unselfishly loving mind, a mind with altruistic love, altruistic joy called mudita, altruistic love called metta, altruistic compassion called karuna. And being selfish, his mind is full of equanimity. People are equal to him despite their differences. Whether they are good or bad, he has the same attitude, same love towards all, towards his enemies as well as towards his friends, towards his own son. He had the same compassion, same love, and with the same altruistic joy, he helped all. It may be difficult to come to that stage of sublime mind. Though difficult, it is not impossible. It is by being good to oneself and to others one can reap the real benefit of life. Life is there for us to understand what suffering is. Understanding suffering is the source of ending suffering too. And those who are ending suffering through understanding are called Buddhists.